Hey guys, 80s Love here. Thank you for coming back to the channel, and by popular demand we have the Bones Brigade Series 14 Blacklight Edition Tommy Guerrero. This thing is absolutely fire, and anyways, it's a real beauty. Thanks for coming back to the channel, guys, and for your votes, because I put up a short just saying, hey, what do you guys want to see next? And honestly, the majority of votes came down to the Tommy Guerrero for this next video, so I'm happy to do this for you guys. And so let me know in the comments what you want to see next. We have a few other ones to do. We've only really got the Hawk done, which looks fabulous up there. And then now we're doing the Tommy G, so we still have another 4 decks to go after this one. So let me know what you want to see next. But let's get into this one quickly. I'm not going to go into a pile of details. I'm going to put a link in the description to the 9 Club interview with Tommy Guerrero, and he will walk you through just a pile of amazing history. And you're getting it from the horse's mouth, so it will just sound so much better coming from him. So definitely check out that video. But like always, I'll walk you guys through the specs, and we'll just talk a little bit about this deck. It's absolutely beautiful though, and such an iconic graphic from Vernon Courtlandt Johnson there. Sorry, I got some notifications going off in the background. But yeah, so beautiful deck. The pointy nose, so just a little bit, so we're all on the same page here. Tommy Guerrero was brought onto the Powell Peralta team in around 1985, and he was brought on for their new street division because Vert was huge, but there was a lot of people moving to the streets, and so they wanted to get in front of the wave, and so they brought on Tommy Guerrero to do that. And so he was brought on as their street guy. It sounds like he didn't officially get his first deck until 1986, which was the V8 graphic, which was pretty rad. We did see that one of the other Bones Brigade series, but that was his initial graphic, and then it ended up going to the Flaming Dagger, which we've seen here on the S12, and so that would have been 86, 87-ish. And then in maybe late 87, definitely in 1988, we get the pointy nose version of it. So this shape, which is really cool. We've had a couple series in the Bones Brigades that have had this, definitely the S13 that we got last year. And then there was another series, I forget exactly which number, but anyways, it was red. It looked killer, great colorway. Probably one of my top 5 colorways was that one. But this one is definitely high up there. So yeah, so this would have been, we were seeing ads for this deck with Tommy Guerrero in 1988, definitely seeing those ads. And I'm actually going to pull up one of them that outline the specs, and we'll compare the OG specs to these specs of the Bones Brigade Series 14, which by the way is the exact same as the S13. So there was a comment a while ago just talking about how the S14 dimensions are a little bit different on some of the decks than some of the other previous series. And for at least Series 14 and Series 13, they're identical, so no changes there. But I will pull up that ad for the OG specs, and we'll see how it compares to the S14, which will be kind of fun to see. So let's just take a really good look at this one. Absolute beauty. Got that beautiful pink ripper on top. I mean, the colors, they're just 80s. It screams 80s. Absolutely love it. All right, so let's get into, and sorry, I closed this off here. This is a separate take. But you know what? Let's actually start with what you get with the deck. So, which is not much. It's got stripped down. So we get, you know, this thin plastic sheet sleeve here that it comes in. This one was, it felt like it was a little bit sticky to the deck, but it really wasn't when I pulled it out. There's no marks on the deck, which is great. So there's no dull spots in the very glossy feeling black dip that's on it. So yeah, thankful that way that the sleeve was not sticking to the deck. So that's good, so no shrink burn. So the sleeve here just comes with these 3 stickers. I'll pull them up here. But this one is just the warranty. This one is just saying that it's made in Mexico, and this one here is just saying that it's 7-ply hard rock maple, which is awesome. So it did pivot from, the Bones Brigade series were made in the US, and then for this series, they pivoted over to Mexico. Did they for 13? I forget. Anyways, definitely for this series now, they're in Mexico. So that's all you got. You got this other little sleeve here that holds the rider card, and then down here, they put the barcode across where it attaches. So just be careful when you're pulling out your decks, because like I told you last time, I had a buddy he was opening his and the sticky stuff slapped back against the graphic and pulled off some of the graphic, which kind of sucks. Anyways, that's the plastic sleeve. And this year, all we got was, yeah, the rider card. Now, in saying that, the store that I got this deck from, which was Beefers in Hamilton, they gave me an air freshener. Put it on pause for a second because I'm coming back. I'm going to grab it. I forgot I was going to grab it. Okay, so sorry, I did not get the Tommy Guerrero from Beefers. I got this one from Boutique Roulin out of Quebec, and I did not get air freshener with it. And they didn't actually come with it anyways. It was just Beefers when I ordered the Hawk, the Mullen, and the Steve Cab. They were super kind enough to send me the 3 air fresheners that matched it, but that was just out of the goodness of their heart. So sorry about that little delay there. Back to the show. So anyways, let's just dive into the specs of this one. Oh, we were on the card. This is what happens when you get old, guys. You know, you're watching, you're dealing with the same crap. You get this rider card with it. I love these rider cards. Gives you a lot of information on Tommy Guerrero. And then it also has the limited number, the amount of the run, and the number that you got as far as your deck. Unfortunately, they don't stamp this number on the deck, which we've talked about it before. I think that would be amazing, but they don't. But anyways, this one is 1,938 of 2,500. So there was 2,500 in this run. And that's really all we got was the rider card. And a little bit disappointing because the prices keep going up and we get less sometimes, but that's what happens. You know, give somebody something once, like for the S12s, we were getting the pins. Last year we got the code for the video and some stickers. And then this year, because there's nothing else, it's kind of a little bit disappointing. But c'est la vie, business is business. All right, so let's just get a good look at the specs here. So I'll just run through what you get off the Bones Brigade Series site, and so I'll put that link in the description as well. You guys can move over to that. But they're saying here the shape is the 233, which if you look at the last 3 digits here, you'll see that it's the 233. The concave on this one is the SP3 concave, so not a lot of concave there. And again, this is 88. So by 89, we're seeing quite a bit of difference in concave. Amazing what 1 year does, but not a lot of concave there. There's the side profile. As far as the nose length, so top of the trucks to the tip of the nose, 3.84. Wheelbase measuring in between the trucks, we'll do it this way, is 15.38. The tail length is 6.05. The actual length of the entire deck is 30.27 inches. And then the width is 9.75 inches. As far as the truck holes, new school, old school, let's pull up my trusty Psycho Riser here. Put that up. You guys can take a look and see we have old school truck hole pattern, which is the way it should be. Anyways, I talk about it all the time, guys. Watch the channel. You'll see. If you're buying trucks, just make sure that it has an old school truck hole pattern to it. So either find some old trucks or get some base plates with the 6 hole pattern, so it will accommodate both new and old school trucks. All right, what else? The heat transfer. And so yes, they no longer are screening right onto the deck as far as the paint process. They screen onto it's kind of like a big sticker ultimately. So they screen independently onto that, and then they just apply the whole sticker on the graphic. And so I don't know if it's easier to apply to those heat transfers in the decks. I honestly don't get it, but that's what they do nowadays to save some money. Obviously, if you're talking to collectors, they like the old school screening right onto the deck process, but it is what it is. Technologies change. Okay, so this one did not smell near as bad when I opened it up as well. The Hawk, I smelled like I could, the paint was so fresh. This one did not have that same smell, which was nice, and as I stated, there just wasn't any dull spots on it. Okay, so we've gone through the specs of what they provided on the Bones Brigade Series site. We've gone through, Vernon Courtlandt Johnson did the graphic on this one, and the heat transfer, the old school truck hole patterns. Let's take a look now just at the OG ad. And so here it is. I'm going to pull up, and you can see that I added an additional column there because I wanted to compare the original to the Bones Brigade Series 14 to see how close it was. Now keep in mind they might have measured a bit differently, so it might not be 100% accurate. And with some of these numbers here, again, because if we go back to the other ad, you can see that they're doing like 30.27, and so they're going to be close approximations as far as 6/8 or 5/8 or whatever we get to there. It'll be the closest to that 8. Anyway, so let's just dive into it. So the original length, they're saying 30.58. I'm going to just zoom in a bit here so I can see that a bit better. So 30.58, and the Bones Brigade Series 14 is closer to 30 2/8. And so a little bit different, 3/8 shorter for the Bones Brigade Whoopsie Daisies Series 14. The width is 9 7/8, and the width on the Bones Brigade Series 14 is 9 6/8 of an inch. And so a little bit different there as well. The nose on the OG is 4 inches, and the nose on the Series 14 is 3 7/8. So again, 1/8 different there. So we're seeing that overall right now, the Series 14 is just a hair smaller. Again, it could just be the way that they're measuring it. The tail, 6 1/4 inches on the OG, and on this one, it is 6 inches. And so just interesting information that they have that there, and I was able to find that ad. It's a really rad ad. And there's other ads on there with Tommy G that you can find in 1988 holding this shaped deck, the flaming dagger here. All right, guys, so there you have it. I'm not going to keep you long, like I said. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Definitely come back and see the rest of the series as we work through Mullen. Who else do we have? McGill. We have Mullen, McGill, Lance, and Cab. Sorry, Steve. And Cab, yes. And that is such a rad cab. Honestly, I still think it's going to be one of the most collected cabs as we get into the future. It's still not moving as fast as some of these other ones, but I think it's so rad, and I think some of these OG guys are going to really dig into it once we get a few years, behind us here. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Please leave your likes and comments and subs. Also good. Totally appreciate it. Cheers.